You know, we usually think of altruism as this purely good thing, right? But what happens when a good deed feels like it has a selfish motive hiding behind it? Well, today, we're diving right into that messy, fascinating space, the paradox of altruism, where our desire to help others runs right into our own hidden needs. Have you ever seen someone do something charitable and it just felt a little off? You know, like the good deed was really more of a performance than a genuine act of kindness. It's that weird, uncomfortable feeling you get when you realize the altruism might not just be for the person being helped, but also for the one standing in the spotlight. So why do we feel that way? And what does it really tell us about what motivates us? To figure this out, we've kind of got to go backstage. So let's pull back the curtain on this whole performance of altruism and take a hard look at what might actually be driving the show. And to do that, there's no better guide than the philosopher Bertrand Russell. He was an absolute master at dissecting human behavior, and he basically believed we're really good at fooling ourselves about our own intentions. This quote just hits the nail on the head. The reasons we do good things are, well, they're rarely as simple or as pure as we'd like to believe. Russell actually broke down a few of these disguised motives. Think about the desire for power, right? A leader who just loves being in charge more than they care about the actual outcome. Or vanity, that craving for everyone to tell you how wonderful and generous you are. Russell even talked about the expectation of gratitude, where a philanthropist is genuinely shocked if people aren't bowing down to thank them. The common thread here? It's always some unacknowledged self-interest dressing up and pretending to be pure virtue. So, okay, spotting these hidden motives is the first step. But how do we avoid falling into that trap of self-deception ourselves? Russell warned that if we don't, we can end up with this sort of persecution complex, always feeling like the world is so ungrateful for all our amazing sacrifices. So how do we stay grounded in reality? Well, lucky for us, Russell offered up these 4 little rules as a practical guide. First, just remember, your motives probably aren't 100% pure, and that's okay. Second, be humble. Don't go around thinking you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Third, remember that other people have their own lives, and they're not nearly as interested in you as you are. And finally, number 4, don't automatically assume people are out to get you. It's like a powerful reality check to keep us from getting bitter and feeling unappreciated. Okay, so what this all boils down to is that this whole performative, self-serving kind of altruism, it really comes from being way too focused on yourself. And the cure, according to Russell, isn't about trying harder to be a good person. It's about shifting your focus entirely, from looking inward at yourself to looking outward at the world. Russell had this absolutely brilliant metaphor for this. So on the right, you've got this healthy, happy sausage machine. It's focused outward. It's taking in pigs, the raw material from the world, and it's producing something valuable, right? Sausages. This is like a person who's engaged with the world. But then on the left, you have the machine that becomes obsessed with itself. It starts thinking, pigs? Who cares about pigs? My own gears are way more interesting. And with nothing new coming in, it just grinds to a halt, finding nothing but emptiness inside. That's the mind when it gets lost in its own reflection. And the takeaway here is just, wow, it's profound. Our minds, they're like these incredible machines, but they can't run on empty. They need raw material from the outside world. Interests, people, ideas, passions. If we don't genuinely engage with things outside of ourselves, our mind just turns inward and, as Russell put it, finds a whole lot of nothing. So if being totally self-absorbed is the problem, does that mean we have to completely erase our own needs? Do we have to just forget about ourselves? No, not at all. A healthy sense of self is absolutely crucial. The real goal isn't to destroy your ego, but to find a healthy, productive way for your own interests and the needs of the world to coexist. And this is where the psychologist Alfred Adler gives us this amazing framework. So if Russell tells us to look outward, Adler kind of tells us where to look. He argued that the real true meaning of life is found in contribution and using our unique skills and passions to cooperate with and serve the community around us. This is where self-interest and helping others can finally shake hands and work together. So let's put it all together. Russell shows us that having a genuine interest in the world is the secret ingredient to being happy. And then Adler shows us that the most meaningful way to direct that interest is towards social contribution. See? It's not about getting rid of your ego. It's about connecting your ego to something bigger than yourself. A healthy ego doesn't see the world as an enemy. It sees it as a place to engage. But let's be really clear here. This is not about pure self-sacrifice. As Russell so practically reminds us, taking care of yourself isn't some moral failing, it's a biological necessity. I mean, even the most selfless person on earth has to eat. If you only give food away, eventually you'll have nothing left to give. Taking care of our own needs isn't selfish. It's the foundation that allows us to contribute to the world in any meaningful, lasting way. And the result of finding this perfect balance? Well, Russell described it as the absolute pinnacle of happiness. It's that feeling where the walls between you and the world just dissolve. You feel like a citizen of the universe, totally connected to the flow of life. And in that deep, instinctive connection, Russell wrote, that's where you find the greatest joy. So I guess the final question is really for you to think about. Where are your genuine interests leading you? How can the things you're truly passionate about connect you to the wider world? Because somewhere in that intersection, that's where you'll find the key. Not just to a life of doing good, but to a life of deep, real, and lasting happiness.